all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey everyone, how are we doing today? Hopefully everyone is doing well. I don't know how long this show gonna be. It might be the hour. It might be less than the hour. I don't know. I just got a couple of things to say, and I don't know how long it's gonna take me to say it. But Mr. Corey Holcomb, of course, had a show last night, and there's a clip that I wanted to focus on. And in my opinion, he wasn't telling lies, but I still have my thoughts on it. It was a sad sort of realization, but not a new thing that was being said necessarily, but I don't know, it just struck me a little bit differently. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna let you hear him out. It's just a part of the conversation that he was having.
You're going to have to deal with this, because even though I'm saying it now, even though I joked about it on Cam Newton's show, this is what America is about to turn into. Men all over America, you should really listen to me, especially if you have something to lose. Marriage is the old model. Your relationships with most, I would say 80% of the women in America should be transactional. Let me say that again. I'm talking to all men. 80% of the women you deal with in America, the relationship should be transactional. 20% of the women in America are worth trying to build with, but the other 80%, you should have a totally transactional relationship with them, because we don't know how to pick a woman. Let me explain something to y'all. Corey Holcomb likes to go.
Now I'm gonna stop him right there, because a lot of people are gonna hear the first part and they're not gonna hear that not the last, because I'm gonna let him continue to talk. But they're gonna hear be transactional. What they not gonna hear is we don't know how to choose women. A lot of us got selective hearing. Everybody listening to that will hear him say 80% of the women that you deal with need to be in a transactional manner. Only about 20% of the women, you can invest more into it and build and marry and stuff like that. And then he said, because we, and he was talking about himself and other men, don't know how to pick women. Don't know how to pick women. I'm going to let him finish it.
Go to the strip club every once in a while. Do you know why I like going to the strip club every once in a while? Because I am absolutely blown away and fascinated looking at all of the female bodies. When you don't look at that all the time, when you're not around it all of the time, you are blown away looking at all of the female bodies in the strip club. I actually like that I'm not used to it.
And there's a couple of good
I
reasons.
enjoy looking at them so much. It's like it's so fascinating to look at all of the different human bodies. But check this out. I wouldn't pick a stripper to be my real girl. Now, this is where it goes to what I'm talking about. We don't know how to pick a real woman. Corey Holcomb would look at the strippers as if they are not to be chosen as the real girl. But let me tell you something. The women I've chose to be the real girls are worse than the strippers. I get more honesty from the strippers. The women who I have tried to build with have all lied to me. The women who I have tried to build with have told me I'm no good because I have been a philanderer.
I'm going to pause him again. Because I need people to hear what he's saying, not hear the salacious part and then not hear the rest of the sentence that he is saying. He's describing now at this point his inability to choose good women. Because he's saying the stripper at the strip club, although that is a transaction where there's little risk, there's a lower risk for getting caught up with your feelings and, you know what I'm saying, with your finances or this or that, because it's like going into a store. It's like going, you don't put your heart and soul when you go into Walmart. You're not putting your heart and soul when you go into a store. You go into the store, you getting the stuff out of it, you paying for the stuff, you coming out. It is what it is. Now, you may get a dopamine hit from shopping and retail therapy or whatever, or getting the thing that you really would wanted and it was at a good price and this and that. That may have you in a temporary state of feeling like, oh, okay, that was a cool outing that I just had. That was a cool experience that I just had. But you are not dwelling on it. You are not emotionally invested in it. It's a transaction. You literally went somewhere, got something, paid your money, got the thing, left. That is the strip club. That is prostitution. That is sex work. That's the nature of sex work. The nature of any kind of sex work is that you're there as the sex worker. The people who want to patronize you and things of that nature, they come to where you are. Whatever the deal is, whether I'm dancing for the money or I'm webcamming for the money or I'm straight up screwing for the money or whatever the case may be, it's lower risk because it's right in your face. However, by the same token, even though that transaction is more upfront, doesn't have a lot of emotional risk or things of that nature attached to it, that woman is still not good for taking her out of that space. You can't take her out of that space. She's only okay in that space for the reason that you're dealing with her and in the manner that you're dealing with her. So now he's saying, okay, she's where she is. Now the women and he's saying his choices, he's putting it on him. He's not really speaking so widespread, but he's saying that in his past, he has chosen women that, while at the same time, those women telling him that he didn't do right by them because he saw other women while they was in relationships and things of that nature, what he's going to say is those women, when you take a step back from those particular interactions, those women's character was not good either. I'm going to let him say it.
A philanderer is a guy who messes with different women. I have been that. But when I dig deep into the women that I have been in serious relationships with, they're all scumbags. And I look at the stripper like the stripper is nothing. But I'm telling you, the women that I've been in relationships with, when you really break down how they try to make it seem like I'm bad and they're good, when I dig into who they are, I find out, oh, this is a dirtbag.
Now, I'm going to pause it there as well. Because now we got to look at what's behind that. Because he's not lying. He's telling a harsh truth. That the women that's not in this transactional space where you know where you went to go and get that woman who's doing that thing, you pay for her, whatever. You come out of that sphere and actually meet the same woman. And he's saying, I had my faults, but they had their faults too. So basically, we were kind of two peas in a pod. We were two peas in a pod. I did my dirt. I was dirty. They probably had a right to see me the way that they saw me. But the point he's trying to make in this particular clip was that he didn't see them. He didn't know how to pick the women. It also speaks to something deeper. And from this point in the conversation on, I'm not speaking on Corey. I'm going to speak in general terms. This is what is meant by water seeks its own level, or you attract the mirror of what you are. And I have said this many times. You don't attract the person you think you are. You attract the type of person you really are. Not the type of person you think you are, not the type of person you portray yourself to be, not the type of person that other people, you attract the level and the quality of person, or a mirror of that, of the person that you actually are inside, in your heart. Do we understand that part? Because this is where a person's accountability comes in at, from what Corey's talking about, not being able to choose the proper partners. Even if the pickings might be a little slim, where's the discernment to even get to that? Because if you don't have good discernment, then you just don't have good discernment. The pickings could be large and you just won't have good discernment. Because even when there were more wife quality women available, there was probably some men that couldn't hit the broad side of a barn for them, and they were standing right there. If you're going for certain kinds of people, or you always attract certain kinds of people, you always find yourself in similar kinds of relationships over and over again. New people, but kind of similar situations. That's the part where you have to be accountable for not only choosing a certain kind of person, but not being able to choose a better person. Because we can't allow the ego to blind us to who we really are. And when I say who we really are, that doesn't mean everybody's a bad person or everybody is some kind of horrible person. You just got to know what your limitations are. You got to know what your faults and flaws are. And sometimes you're going to attract people who either compliment those things or they want to take advantage of those things. There was a point in my life where my low self-esteem was palpable to others. This would attract men who thought, I can take advantage of her in some kind of way because she doesn't think much of herself. The only thing that saved me from a lot of foolish relationships was, first of all, I got married when I was real young. So, and I stayed married. So that wiped away. Like, I didn't even have an opportunity to be going through a whole lot of dating and all that kind of stuff. But the time period before me getting married and being in school and all that kind of stuff, I recognized that I was attracting men who didn't really see my value. What they saw was a girl who didn't have a lot of self-esteem. And so when you lack self-esteem and when you lack, good self-awareness and a good self-image, there are people who are like, I can get something out of that person because they'll feel lucky to have me around. The only thing saved me from that, aside from getting married real young, but before I was married, the only thing saved me from that was that I was aware. I was just aware enough to understand that that part of me was what was attracting them. They wasn't there because they thought highly of me, because they couldn't think highly of me because I didn't think highly of me. And I understood just enough to know that. And so that kept me out of a lot of foolishness. Even as a young teenage woman, that kept me out of a lot of foolishness with a lot of boys. Because if you notice, like, girls that don't have good self-esteem usually will have a high body count. And you will wonder how that happens. That's how that happens, because they look for the validation in the boy that is interested in them without understanding why he's interested or what it is that he's trying to get out of you. So they're constantly looking for this validation that they can never really get. And 20 bodies later, 30 bodies later, 50 bodies later, they still have not gotten this validation. And now they feel even worse because now they've entered into whore territory. And then it helped that I had a dad. Right? So I didn't have daddy issues. I had a daddy that loved me. With all his faults and flaws, I had a daddy that loved me. Okay. And I knew my daddy loved me. So I didn't have a daddy. I didn't have a father wound that I was looking to heal through various men. I wasn't looking to do that. But I was just using that as an example of attracting things to you. But sometimes it's the worst part of you that's attracting stuff, not the best part. Mainly because we are focused on the worst parts of us, and we operate in the worst part of us rather than operating in the best part of us. When you operate in the worst part of you, you start attracting other people to be around you, friends, company, associates, lovers. You attract people who are attracted to that negative part of you. They either trauma bonding with you, or they looking to take advantage of you, or something. There's something negative involved. So those relationships, whether they're friendships, romantic relationships, or whatever the case may have been, those relationships don't work to help you improve. You don't improve other people. You don't improve yourself as a result. They don't add value. You don't add value. It's just a lot of rigmarole. It's a lot of chaos. It's a lot of foolish men attached. It's a lot of negative experience, negative interaction, negative outcome. And it's like, man, why did I even bother with that? What was that? And unless and until you decide to take a step back and say, I can no longer have these outcomes. And if you're serious about saying, I can no longer deal with these outcomes, it becomes an issue of not blaming other people and how they behave, but actually turning the mirror to yourself and saying, what is it about me, though? There's something that I'm putting out in the universe. Because why? It's some kind of energy in the atmosphere that I'm doing. And you gotta tweak it. You gotta change those behaviors. You have to start focusing on the more positive parts of you. If you don't like you, then you gotta figure out why you don't like you. What's wrong with you? Because I guarantee if you don't like you, other people do not like you. If you don't like you, other people don't like you, no matter what they say. Because energy does not lie. Energy don't lie. You can feel people's energy, and that energy is either attractive or repulsive. Sometimes it's neutral. But there are people whose energy is so good that it attracts other people whose energy is good, but it also attracts people who feed on other people's good energy. You see, this is where discernment come in at. And there are other people whose energy is so repulsive. It's like nobody gets along with them. Nobody can tolerate them for very long. They just insufferable people. Insufferable people. And it's like, you know, they might be good for this or that, but not much. Almost not worth it to deal with them because they come with so much foolishness. You know, it's so much chaos come with them that it outweighed the benefit. It outweighed any benefit that you could possibly have. I know that. Put a 1 in the chat if you met them people and you know them people in your life. That you know, if you hung with them for a little bit, you could get something out of them. But good God Almighty, good goobly goo, the stuff that you just got to sit through with him, you can't do it. If you could stay with them for 6 months, you make $1 million, but I be dead on the bell. You can't do it. You can't do it. Can't do it. I can't take it. You gonna make me do something to me or you. I know that at the end of the 6 months, I could get $1 million, but I don't know about that because I would have to live to get through the 6 months without going to jail. And I don't know that I can do that. Because the way you running around here, I'm going to have to take your head off. And, I don't know what I'm going to tell the authorities. I'll never get the $1 million. I'll never get it. Because either I'm going to be in jail and can't get it, or you going to be dead and can't give it to me. It's one or the other. So we know folks like that. Discernment is a thing that people overlook so many times. When we look at why is Corey saying this whole thing he's saying? Why is he saying just be transactional? Just, don't even try to go. He said something in the beginning of that. He said marriage is the old model. Why is marriage the old model? Why aren't people concerned with marriage anymore? Why aren't people concerned with building strong, sustainable families anymore? Why is it 80% of the women that most men deal with over here is not good enough to be wives? Why? I'm going to spare y'all today my feminist spiel. I'm going to spare y'all that. Because we've gotten so far away as a group with any kind of values or any kind of spirituality. Are we surprised that we're in this space? Are we even surprised that we in this space? Because we told God to get out of our face. We did. And I don't mean just the women. The entire group, as a collective of us, told God to get out of our face. We told God to get out of our face. We told God we did not need him anymore. I have heard on these YouTube streets men sit up and say that, especially if they had some measure of success or something like that, that they didn't need God for that. God don't pay their bills. I've heard it with my own. God don't pay my bills. I did what I did. God ain't came down here and worked these hours. God ain't worked these hours. We told God to get out of our face. Because if you gonna tell God that you don't need him and you can do whatever you gonna do by yourself because he don't pay your bills, is it any wonder that the women in your life tell you the same thing? They tell you what you tell God. The women in your life tell you the same stuff you tell God. And it don't feel good. It don't feel good. It don't feel good for a man to be doing everything that he feel like he need to be doing as a man, only for the women in his life to tell him, turn around, tell him they don't need him, and he ain't really do nothing for them, and all of that kind of stuff. What you think God think? I've heard that not only in the YouTube space, I have heard those sentiments said in real time, in real life, from real people. I don't need no God. What I need a God for? I'm doing all this. Oh, really? Oh. And then be mad that the women in their life is not obedient to them. People think God be playing when he tell you that certain men is for certain women and certain women is for certain men. People think God be playing. I'm not even gonna preach to y'all. I'm not even gonna do that. But God is not playing. You get what you get. May you get the people in your life you deserve. And you don't know what you deserve. So lamenting about what's going on in your life and who in here and who and this person doing something to you and that one ain't no good and this one over here is a scoundrel and that one good. Well, you know, if you surrounded by gutter snipes, where you at? If you are surrounded by gutter snipes, where are you? Where are you located? You cannot be surrounded by gutter snipes if you are not also in the gutter. You digs through the garbage. So you covered in trash, you smell like trash. You think about trash. You behave trashily. Trash is on your mind and it's on your spirit and it's in your hands. Trash. And then you will look up from the trash talking about some, why come I can't get stuff that's in the penthouse? Because you in the gutter. Because you in the gutter. That's why. And until you can figure out not being in the gutter, ain't no way you think you supposed to get something that it belong in the penthouse. And there ain't no way. There ain't no way. Ain't no way. Because you just in the trash. You in the trash all day. Mad because it's trash. Why are you mad that you the one rooting around in the garbage like a pig in slop? You. Come out. Come out from among them. Do that. Don't be trying to tell the world. Don't be trying to tell the world about what you deserve. You don't know what you deserve. Because what are you putting out? Ain't no way you a woman that think you deserve this kind of man and that kind of man. Who are you? I'm gonna actually let him. You know what? I'm gonna go to a commercial break, but he said something else that I want people to hear because it needs to be heard. But after these messages, we'll be right back. I need everybody to go to ashkicking.com. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. If you're trying to keep your skin looking and feeling its absolute best, then you need the body butter that is on the screen right now. All right. If this is going to be your first order, please take advantage of the 10% discount using the promo code Crimson at checkout. Once again, the link is pinned to the top of the chat, ashkicking.com. Let me get to these super chats real quick. Thank you, Mogul, for the support. I appreciate you. Thank you, Miss Celine. How you doing, Miss Celine? Say, if I don't take heed to God's commands as a believer and do things God's way, I will get a spiritual beating in my life until I fix it. Exactly. Exactly. He's going to say something else that I want everybody to hear as well.
I've been in relationships where a woman will hide what she has, but take everything I have. We'll go to court to take everything I have, but hide everything they have. But the stripper bitches I fuck with, I'm able to communicate with and get what I want, long as I come up with what they want. This is what I'm saying. This is why America is so messed up right now. You are better off in a transactional relationship than being in a relationship with somebody where you put trust into them by allowing yourself to be married to them. Because when you allow yourself to be married to them, if you don't know by now, I don't know what rock you crawling from under, you're entering a contract with the state. Marriage used to be between man, woman, God. Now, when you get a marriage certificate, the state owns you, your wife, your kids, your property, everything, and they distribute it as they will. That's why you shouldn't get married. It's an old model. You should have a woman or women you deal with, and it is transactional until you find that 20% that might be a queen worth merging with. But it's very rare that you're going to find a queen in this hot mess of insincerity. Because that's all it is. It's a hot mess of insincerity. The women are trained to make you think you're no good, but their life reflects failure. Their Facebook, their Instagram, their TikTok, it all reflects failure.
That's what I wanted y'all to hear him say. The reflection of failure. This is what I was just talking about. Failing. Your life, you fail in your life. You don't have good outcomes anywhere. I don't even just mean worldly outcomes. You're not having a good life. Like you don't have a good life. Like you don't have inner peace. You don't have inner contentment. You don't have a good outlook. You don't have, you know what I'm saying? That balance between hopefulness and realistic viewpoints and things of that nature. There's no balance. There's no balance at all. You either way over here or way over there. You don't, y'all understand what I'm trying to say? I'm not even talking about monetary outcomes. Everybody not going to have a bunch of money. Everybody not going to have nice things. Everybody's not going to have, you know what I'm saying, all this disposable income and blah, 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 blah. No, everybody not going to have that. But what about you? What about you? I'm not going to play the rest of it, but he does go on to talk about women being happy, and you know what I'm saying? If they're not happy, you can't make them happy and things of that nature. But that's more what I'm talking about at this point, like your internal outcomes. What kind of life you be living? You know if you are a POS or not. Like you know if you're not. You know if you are or not. You know if you genuinely have good character and good intent for people and good intent when you interact and when you go throughout life, you have good intent. But good intent is not enough. Your actions have to follow the intention. And what I do personally is I pray that my actions reflect my good intention. First of all, to make sure that my intentions are actually good. And then secondly, to pray to Allah that my actions actually reflect my good intent and that people are safe from harm from me. That I do my best not to inflict, knowingly or unknowingly, harm upon people. You got to do your best. It's not perfect. No one's going to be perfect. But you got to try. You at least have to try. Try to have good character with people. You might get out of context sometime, feel like you got pushed, you know what I'm saying? And now you do what people are saying. You acting out of character. But more often than not, try to have good character with people. Practice daily telling the truth to yourself, to others. Don't practice deceit. Practice telling the truth. Truth is sincerity. Truth is authenticity. Practice telling the truth. Practice being real. Practice be, you gotta practice that stuff. And when I say practice it, I mean you gotta do it repeatedly. You have until that is your nature. You gotta try your best to do right by people, yourself, all of that. And that's really all I got for y'all today. Cause that's what made me think about it. Thank you, Miss Maya. See, old habits die hard. Thank you, Miss Maya. But I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. But before I go, you might want to head on over to crimsoncure.com where you can book a coaching session by following this link right here, and it will direct you to where you can schedule for yourself a session for a date and time that is suitable to you. Also, this is where you can purchase Reclaiming the Black Feminine. Simple purchasing. Just click the PayPal buy now button and it takes you right through. Real simple, easy peasy. And also, if you wanted to download the charts, I do have them here. They've been here actually. I'll download more as we go, but these are the most popular: the 10 life values, the 4 P's, the bioculturons, and the lost value system chart. So you guys can download them for free. It doesn't even take you through like a semi thing to buy them, and it just lets you download it. So once you click it, it's just a one-click thing, and you can have them free of charge always. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Thank you, James. So Crimson, you are rocking heavy today. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I definitely appreciate all of you. Once again, thank everyone for coming through, for rocking with me for a little bit. Shout out to Corey Holcomb, because he doesn't gripe or send copyrights when you use his clips and things of that nature. So I appreciate it. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.